So it is now 4:03, so we'll officially start the meeting. And I'd just like to acknowledge that, oh, who's that? Thanks for that.
Can you see the screen,
Yeah,
Ron?
I can. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for putting that up, Deb.
no problem.
Acknowledge that we're on the unceded ancestral lands of the Lheidli T'enneh, on whose land we live, work, and play. And of course, we serve three different nations, the McLeod Lake Indian Band and the Simph Nation. And I know myself and Trustee Warrington and Assistant Superintendent Karpinko were all part of a really great meeting this morning and this afternoon with the Indigenous Education Table. I believe it was history making, and we started in a good way, and it's exciting. So I'm really encouraged and hopeful, and I know some great things are going to come out of that. That relationship and that collaboration. So, and you'll hear a lot more about it in the days and weeks and months to come. But I just want to acknowledge that we really we've had a great day already, and I know this day is going to continue to be great because this meeting always highlights the great work that we do within the district. And as I said before, it fills my bucket, and I know fills the bucket of all trustees and people who do this work. So with that being said, we'll move on to the second item on the agenda, and that is the minutes of the previous meeting. So I guess it's just me and you, Trustee Warrington, if you want to.
I reviewed the minutes and I saw nothing that needed to be changed or altered, so I've moved the minutes be approved.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed? Carried.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to take any opposition. All in favor? Carried. And we'll just keep an eye out, Trustee Warrington, if you can, if Trustee Mahoney joins us.
Well, Jan would have to look at because I don't have access to that. So Jan will let him in if he comes in.
Yeah, give us a heads up, please, Jan, if he joins us. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is the great work that our DSAC students are doing with the learning series. And I know there's going to be an exciting event here happening in a couple of weeks, but I don't want to steal your thunder, Katie. And I see Olivia's here, and Mr. Clifford is here. I know he's done a lot of work as well. And Victoria's here, so take it away. Tell us about this wonderful learning series project that you guys have been working on for, I think, well over a year now. Yeah.
I'll start. Howdy, everyone. Zanas Hunzu. Good afternoon. Always really honored and excited to be able to present anything to do with the District Student Advisory Council. I think that I don't want to talk too much because everyone wants to hear kids talk, as they should, but I really always want to take the opportunity to say how proud I am of the students and how much respect I have for them and the work that they have done. And my role truly is gathering their ideas and kind of facilitating all of their ideas. The work is not coming from my ideas, it's through the students. And that's really what student agency is, where they bring ideas forward, they make the decisions, and I find a way to make those things happen. We've been really busy, and the students will give you some details as to what that busyness looks like. And as a result, like, I had a conversation earlier in the year around how busy we were getting, and we've got support from the Board of Trustees. Of course, we've got assistant superintendents who help out as well. And then I'm in the PVP, and then we have students. And so the one layer of support that was missing was the PGDTA, which is the Teacher Association. So Dylan Clifford, he is an aspiring leader. He is a leader, but he's an aspiring leader in our community. And so he's a part of this, and I'm very grateful for his support as well. And so I'll pass it along to him, and then we'll listen to the students talk. So thank you so much for your time. I'll see.
Thank you very much, Katie. That was really kind of you to say those words. So I see a lot of familiar faces in here, but for those who don't know me, my name is Dylan Clifford. I'm a teacher at DP Todd Secondary. I have the privilege of introducing today to some of you Victoria, which is a grade 12 student at PGSS, and Olivia, which is a grade 12 student at Dutchess Park Secondary. They're going to talk about two things with us today. They're going to talk about the media release, as well as what we've called in our Snapchat group, Operation Ron Brent. And I initially planned for them to talk about this issue separately. One was going to tackle the media release, and the other was going to talk about Ron Brent. But then they aggressively told me that they're actually both going to talk about both things. So I will turn it over to the kids. The floor is yours, Victoria and Olivia.
Awesome. Do you want me to start, Olivia? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can do the main stuff for the videos, and I'll do Ron Brent. And if we have
Okay, sounds good. So, Heidi, everyone, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today and be able to speak to you guys. It's always an honor. So yes, as all of you are aware, we have been working on this video series for over a year now, and it's an incredible journey from, the first idea of it arising to now having this video series, and we present it to the board and to the senior team and PVP. So we're really excited now, though. Due to COVID, it's kind of been hard to be able to figure out media release. However, we now have a plan, and the plan is now March 2nd. We are going to release this to the media and have an opportunity to bring a couple of guests with us, like our parents, maybe our siblings, and just be able to share it with everyone. Something that, I know, at least for me, something I've been really, really proud of to be able to work on. And it's a really true honor, and to be able to finally share it and share something that means so much to me is just incredible. So I'm super excited to be able to share with everyone. I think for the media release as well, we're going to share all 4 videos, or the first 3. So stories, experiences, impact, and hope and allyship. And from there, we're also going to be able to have a panel with Mayor Lynn Hall, Cindy Heitman, and then another school trustee. And that's, I think, going to be awesome, be able to ask them questions and, also just allow people to learn about, what this work means to the district, to those huge leaders in our community. So I'll pass it along to Olivia if she wants to add anything.
Victoria pretty much covered everything for the media release, except we're all just very excited that's finally happening. It's been a project that's been officially over a year in the making, so that's exciting. But now that we have all this done, what's next? So at one of the last board meetings we spoke at, we mentioned that we are planning on going into the elementary school, Ron Brent Elementary, and we are starting a project there where we are building connections with the students, so that we can collect some data and information to help make their learning environment something enjoyable and someplace they want to be. When we look at all the different elementary schools in our town and in our city, just our district in general, Ron Brent is one of the most marginalized, be it racially and socioeconomically. So they don't have, a lot of the students don't get that many opportunities to get to go to school. Some kids just don't want to be there. Some kids can't make it to school. They have to babysit or just take care of their life at home. And education is something that's really important for students. So our goal in going to Ron Brent, and we actually started last week, DSAC students have started going into the schools during their spare, during the class, to meet the kids, engage with the teachers, just so we can get to know the kids, build these relationships, and start getting this data so we can start improving their school life. And Victoria, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so I was actually honored yesterday to be able to go to Ron Brent, and I have to say, it was, well, I personally have worked with kids for a really, really long time, whether that be coaching, Engage Sport North, or just in general, like just leadership wise. And it was a really, really incredible opportunity for me. I'd worked with kids that were in a more vulnerable setting before, but I felt going into that school, like I didn't totally know what to expect. I had an idea, but walking out, I felt very privileged. And I think that's a word I've used a lot in the last year, learning about other people's experiences with racism and marginalization. And I think I just felt very privileged. And I learned so much. These kids who, I know for me at least, they're looked at not as being sometimes the greatest kids, and they have such the biggest heart. They have no idea like what's the right word, just what they just don't, they just have the biggest heart. They're so grateful and accepting just to everyone. And I remember walking into the room and the teacher introduced me, and they're all asking me questions and just wanting to talk to me, to ask me about stuff, just wanting to just, be friends in a way. And my heart felt so full, but I also felt very emotional in a sense, because you also see a lot of these kids and you see like the background that they come from and like their story and their journey. And some of them have so much more going on than I even have. And I think I'm really excited to be able to build connections with these kids, and who may have not had that opportunity to have a connection with someone like us, who we want to be role models to them, and we want to show them, what they can achieve, and they can achieve anything they set their mind to. So I don't know if Olivia wants to add anything, or Katie wants to add anything, or Dylan.
I haven't gotten to go into one of the schools yet, but next week in the morning, I am going to spend my spare at Ron Brent with one of the teachers, and I'm really excited because all of the reviews, I guess, from my friends in DSAC that I've heard have been just amazing. And I'm excited to meet these kids and be able to engage with them and get more information so we can help build these connections, because that's really all that matters, is to make connections with the younger students and makes school someplace safe for them, because that's what's really important about schools, a safe place for kids.
And I'll just jump in just to kind of summarize the foundation or the basis of this work is actually, I don't know if you can see it, it's the book called Street Data by Shane Saphir. And so all of the District Student Advisory Council students have a copy of the book. And so the goal is they're making connections right now, hoping to conduct some interviews, some possibly empathy interviews, or we're using street data to find ways to gather information, because DSAC students understand that they are not necessarily the voice of all students, that the fact that they're in the group means that they do have privilege. And so in order to gather information from students, we actually need to talk to kids who are on the margin, which is why we're actually partnering with Ron Brent. So we're hoping that whatever information we get, that information we can come back and present that to you, whatever it is that we gather, and that possibly could guide how we move forward in our district with voices from our most marginalized little human beings. Messi?
Thank you. So any questions or comments for our DSAC presenters today? And go ahead and unmute yourself and speak. I can't all see you because of the screen sharing, but. No.
Hello, Chairperson.
Trustee Warrington.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Well, I'm most impressed with this work. I think the building of connections between the DSAC students and the children at Ron Brent will make a huge difference to those children. Just the reaching out, the making that connection, which probably wouldn't happen under normal circumstances. So I have no questions of the students. I have only just thank you for your desire to make a difference. And I have no doubt that we will benefit from hearing the voices of those young children that you're going to be working with, because the voices of those children have not been heard, and that you will be their voice for them is just a very, very important goal. And I know the district will benefit from this as well. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you, Trustee Warrington. And I just want to echo your comments, and really, I think something as a board and a trustee that we can learn from the work that you guys are doing by trying to reach out to those marginalized voices and get their input on what's happening in the district. That's something that we as a board and as trustees have to do a better job as well too, because we as trustees are privileged, myself white privileged, and we have to hear the voices of everybody within the district to represent them. So there's learning that we can do from the work that you're doing right now. And having the privilege of being the trustee liaison to DSAC for the better part of the last two years, and seeing this vision and this work come together to where it is now is just, it gives me such a sense of pride, and it's such a great news story. And I'm thrilled that we're finally you guys are gonna tell your story to the public coming up in March. And it's just amazing. And people are watching, and they know of the work that you guys are doing, and you're inspiring so many people around you, people that you don't even know. So it's fantastic work, and thank you for doing it. So with that being said,